for being outside here in the garden or for camping, I would naturally gravitate towards something with a wood saw. So the PowerPint doesn't have one of those, but as I promised you before, I'm going to show you how to actually take a standard T-Shank and adapt it for use with the hex bit adapter on the SOG PowerPint. So grab your precision rotary tool and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so now I'm going to show you the process for taking any kind of standard T-Shank saw blade and how to adapt it to fit inside this hex adapter of the SOG PowerPint. It's important that you use this type of T-Shank saw blade, jigsaw blade, and not this one which doesn't have a T-bar across the top. So you should only do this with standard T-Shank blades. Also, this is the process for saws. Here you can see we have files and scalpel adapters. That is a different process. So we'll be following this process now with this precision saw blade. As you can see, the teeth go straight up and down, unlike on this one. I prefer these where the teeth go straight up and down and like this, and that matches more closely the saw blade on a Victorinox Handyman, for example. Yeah, it means that you can saw in both directions, pushing and pulling. So that's what we're going to use, a precision wood saw. But like I said, this process is exactly the same for metal saws, even these carbide tipped ones for granite and marble. As a user, you should also decide how you're going to use the PowerPint for sawing with relation to the pocket clip. So my personal choice is going to be to have the pocket clip here at the top in my right hand like this. The first step is to get the T-Shank blade to the right length. I know that this depth here is exactly 1 centimetre, and I'm going to want the top of the hex adapter here to grip onto the top of the T-bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top of the T-bar down to 1 centimetre, and then I'm going to remove the rest. Okay, so as you can see, I have marked 1 centimetre down from the top of the T-bar. I'm now going to use my precision rotary cutting tool to remove the material below this 1 centimetre line. So hold it there in the vise and off we go. Okay, great. So I'll look at it. Okay, yeah, so that looks pretty good. We'll sand this off though with a grinding stone. Smooth off some of these edges, but taking off very little material. And that's fine. All right, so as you can see, the blade now fits nicely into the handle of the SOG PowerPint. And to be honest, this I saw on Reddit. So everything up until this point I saw on Reddit, and there was a discussion there to say that if you take off everything but 1 centimetre from a standard T-Shank, you can get it to hold and grip in the SOG PowerPint. And yeah, that's true, but there's still some wobble here. These are a little bit far apart, and at this point, from this point onwards, I just thought, okay, let's see what we can do to actually improve this. So the next stage is to actually remove the top of the T-bar on the blade side. Yeah, that will bring these closer together. So we need to do that using the grinding wheel. Okay, that's the next step. Okay, so as you can see here, I've marked the metal that I want to take off. It's very important that you do this on the blade side. You do not want to be removing from this part here, just in here. So I put that in there and get busy with the Dremel and grindstone. Okay, I'll just take a bit more off. And there, that surface, that is now level. So that's what I wanted to achieve. As we can now see, these handles are even closer together, but not quite touching, so there's a couple of millimeters in there. And this blade is more secure here in the jaws. There's still more that I want to do with this. I want to bring that even closer together if I can. And inside the hex adapter, we can see here that this is in an arrow shape, whereas the corresponding area on the T-Shank is now flat. What I want to do is bring this into a point so that it fits nicely into the arrow shape here. That will bring these handles a little bit closer together and make this even more secure. So to do that, I'm going to go all the way along here, bringing this edge to a point like a roof. Let's see how that works. Okay, so let's see how that worked. Okay, so that now slides in there, and this gap has been closed to just a couple of millimeters, and if I grip it tightly now, we can see that this is very solid. There's just a couple more steps, but I have now finished with the Dremel. Okay, so here we have the T-Shank blade, which slots nicely into the hex bit adapter here and is held in place very firmly. And as you can see, it leans forward slightly. That's because this side is flush with this wall, whereas this side has this protrusion here for the top. That is so that the pressure that gets put here while it's being used as a saw, that is so that it doesn't rock backwards. Regardless of all these changes, this still remains a T-Shank blade, and this is a hex adapter. Now, what would grip best in a hex adapter is a hex bit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build a hex bit around this T-Shank, okay, with dun dun dun, a hot glue gun. Now, we're going to fill this hole with hot glue. No one panic or shit a chicken. I've done this a few times and no multi-tools have ever been hurt in this process. So what we need to do is make sure we retain this little gap here and we're lined up with the clip, and then we just get busy. So let's pour the glue in, make sure it's nice and hot, and we get it in there. Don't worry about the excess. And then while it's still hot, we get our T-Shank blade in there as deep as it will go. Okay, so I'm going to keep this in real time. This is now starting to cool. This glue, you push this up around here, and it's starting to cool off. And what we need after this is a pair of scissors. Let me see if I can. There we go. Got a pair of scissors. Right, and before it's fully cooled off, we're going to open this up and have a look at the hex bit that we've built. If there's glue under here, then we need to make sure that that is not in the way. All right, here, so what we're going to do is we're going to open it gently. You have to grip nice and tight here while we're doing that, because we do not want this glue to separate away as it's pushing out. So we open the jaws, making sure that it can get clear of here. Open the jaws and we pull out the hex T-Shank hybrid that we have made. And there we go. Let's have a look at it. So there are bits here that have to be cleaned off, yes, but that is a pretty good hybrid T-Shank hex. So let's clean off these bits around it that would stop it going back inside. Here we can see this is from the glue squeezing out under here, so that's got to go because that's going to stop it going back in. And we just trim off all of this excess silicone glue. Okay, while it's still warm. Alrighty then, let's try that. See how it goes in. Okay, that has gone in all the way and it's gripping very well, and now that is going nowhere. So what we can do is we can retain this glue here, or if we don't like it aesthetically, then we can actually remove it. All right, so personally, I like to retain this silicone glue at the top, some of it, because I believe it helps grip the T-Shank within the hex bit, and also it's a helpful indicator, stop indicator, to say, okay, you've reached the full insertion point, like that. However, if you want to take it off, you take a sharp knife like this and cut on this side, so all the way down, and then on the other side of the blade, the saw blade as well, and then all the way around at the bottom. Now you can see that's starting to come away now. So there you go. That's how you remove the excess. Also, it's important that you, as well as trimming this, you need to make sure that on the SOG PowerPint you have got rid of all of the bits of silicone glue. Okay, there we go, that's clean. All right, so that's how you get a very cool wood jigsaw blade for your SOG PowerPint. If you use a ranger band at the back, as I do, that helps even more, keeping the handles together and this grip. And yeah, this process is the same for all kinds of saws, so wood saws, metal saws, even the carbide saws. This process, as you've just seen it, works for all of them. You can even add these little rings as an aesthetic aftertouch if you want. So yeah, so that's that. All right, so these being made with silicone hot glue, they can actually come apart after quite a bit of prolonged use. This is the blade that I used in the opening shot, where I was cutting through this dowel, and yeah, I managed to get through about 20 of these, and yeah, the silicone glue is still on here, so it really does have to be after quite a bit of use. But yeah, when they do come off, they come off like this, and it is worth keeping 1 or 2 of these in the pouch with all of your saw blades. I'll explain why. I'm going to take the glue off this and undo the work I did before. So here we go with a Stanley blade. Wow, that's tough. Okay, peel it off at the back. All right, so as we can see, this is an old sort of hexy type bit that I made, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide in the saw blade into there, and then slide it in here and grip it, so it's not glued on, but because of the grip it's still very solid, and that will allow you to finish whatever job it is you are doing until you can get back to your workbench and your glue gun. So this glue here is a silicone based glue from a craft glue gun. I managed to pick this one up for €10, so like about $12–13 at a local store. And these glue sticks, they come in all sorts of colors, so you even have glitter on some of these, and what that means is that I have been able to color code all of my saw blades. So that is how you can get any T-Shank jigsaw blade to fit a SOG PowerPint. Stick around and I'll show you how to the slight modification for file and then for custom tools that you can make yourself, and yes, obviously the precision scalpel blades also.